Unicorns Out of a Straitjacket is bred from the TEDx Talk, How Unicorns Wind Up in a Straitjacket. Hi, and thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Unicorns Out of a Straitjacket, which is part of the Career Change series. Now, this series of interviews is finding super talented people and sharing their career journey with us. Unicorns Out of a Straitjacket is bred from the TEDx Talk, How Unicorns Wind Up in a Straitjacket, which is to say, wonderful, fabulous, talented people like yourselves who are perhaps in the wrong career for them and therefore feel constricted, feel inhibited, that they're not living up to their full potential, and they feel like they're in a straitjacket. That's the whole point of this. So today, I have with me a very exciting guest all the way from Iran, Mahta Yousefi, and we'll be talking about her career journey to date. And I'm really excited about this because she's a powerhouse woman. So can you please join me in welcoming Mahta to the series? Hi, Mahta, thank you so much for being here.
Hi, how are you? I'm actually very honored to be here with you today. And thank you for having me.
It's completely a pleasure. I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. So you're a self-discipline coach and you work with business owners and entrepreneurs. Tell us a bit more about what you currently do.
Yes. So currently I'm working 3 jobs and I have a funny story behind that. And that's, I was working as a self-discipline coach offline for 2 years. And then I was like saving up money to participate in a coaching program so I can just finally take my business online. And unfortunately, 2 weeks ago, my bank account was hacked and cleared completely. So I lost the entire money I was saving up to take my business online. So that's why I'm working 3 jobs, and one of them happens to be coaching. So I also work as an assistant in an English institute, and also I work part-time as a tailor, and I have my own clients. Like I just tailor some clothes for them, and then it's a side hustle. So this is my story so far. But what got me into the coaching from the beginning was that
wait, I'm still in shock. You have an incredible story. I'm really sorry to hear about your bank account. That's really annoying.
That's fine. I'm going to work through it. I have almost 3 days to recover that. Yeah.
You're really a living testament. You're really a living testament of self-discipline and just pushing through regardless. Wow.
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
This is my life mission. How else would I just go with it, right?
Absolutely. So if I understood clearly, you do the self-discipline coaching offline. You teach English and you're also a tailor.
Yes, but I recently took my coaching business online. So that's how I'm just trying to make things work for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And what prompted, tell us a bit about the career journey. How did you end up in these 3 fields and what prompted that?
As a child, I was like, always in my room, doing my own thing, minding my own business. So all of this just developed by themselves, you know, because I speak Farsi, my first language. Well, not first. I would say my first language is English, and then Farsi is my second.
Yeah.
So I can't even think in Farsi, even though this is a language I'm using daily. So yeah, that's how I got into, like, I was good at English. I was like speaking better than most of the people around me. And that's how I landed as an assistant in the English Institute.
Right.
And being a tailor, that was my passion. That was something I really loved to do. And I even studied fashion design in college. And then I do this because I enjoy it, because it really gives me that pleasure. And also it has something to do with discipline, you know, because when you put fabrics together and they become completely aligned. And then I don't know how to explain this, but the feeling was so amazing for me.
Yeah.
And the coaching business is also me loving to or organize things and putting things in order. So that just led me to this whole new world of being obsessed. I also have OCD. Just I had to mention this that. So I was obsessed with always like putting things in order, like planning and sticking to a plan. You know,
Right.
because what's the point of planning if you're not going to stick to a plan? So yeah, that's how I was drawn to this entire world of discipline, and I enjoyed um like I would say, okay, let's get up at 5 a.m. and then do this. And by the time everyone else was getting up, I was already like done with all my tasks. So it feels amazing. So yeah, that's how I just like got interested in this and then started helping people one by one. And people would ask me like, how do you have it all? How do you have your life together? Like I was studying it back then and I would work part-time and use my English to be a translator, be a guide for tourists in my country.
Yes.
And that's how I just made my money. And then I would just go to college back then. So everybody would ask me like, "You're 18. How do you all do all of this? How do you just live on your own, make this kind of money, and then study as well?" So yeah, they felt I don't see it myself, but they felt that I had it all together. So
Mm.
they started asking me like, what should we do? What do you suggest? What are your tips? How should we like get disciplined? How do we get things organized? And then I showed them one by one how to like work with their task, how to plan, how to prioritize their tasks. And yeah, that's how I just ended up in a place that I found myself really, I loved doing this. So I found my zone of genius there. Yeah.
Love that. And you can see the passion as well of using everything that you have available to you, including your OCD, and even turning that into successful.
Yes, that's how I leveraged in my OCD and turn it into something that really makes me happy, you know?
That is wonderful. And you can see it as you're talking, that passion of it really makes me happy. I love that. Oh,
Yeah.
fantastic.
So then I just realized that coaching is something that you can use to help others.
Mhm.
And then I started a coaching course. I worked on it like 2 years. Yes. I studied for 2 years and then I'm working for 2 years. Now I'm 22.
Wow,
And yeah, here I am, a self-discipline coach
wonderful.
and happy to serve.
Going back to the Unicorns in Straitjackets TEDx, we were talking about 3 steps to take to get into the perfect career for you. And the first step was really finding the clues in your life that you were born to do this. So what would you say some of the clues were in your childhood, or what your natural zone of genius is, or what you're complimented on? I think you've alluded to some, but what would you say the clues are for you?
Yeah, I would just enjoy the organization of stuff, you know, like when things were in order because of my OCD. I
Right.
really enjoyed that. I really love to like organize things and then I had to make sure everything was perfect, even though perfectionism is not so good. But now I learned to, over time, I've learned to use that in my favor. Like
Right.
when I want something to be perfect and something has to be done, I had to like combine these two mindsets together. And then this is what I just call my, what do you say? It was like the clue, you know?
Yes. Yes. Your zone of
So
genius.
yeah, I took the disorder and the genius and then combined it together. And then it became a self-discipline, you know,
Right.
because
Right.
being disciplined means doing things even though you don't feel like doing them. So you can get the result you want, right?
Yes.
So I really enjoyed that. And I guess that was my clue.
Okay. And then the
Yeah.
2 was to connect the dots for you. So any other underlying talents that you have, any hobbies that you have, any lifestyle preferences. I think you briefly mentioned about making your own money and living on your own. How did you combine your genius with your lifestyle preferences?
Okay. Okay, about that, I would say someone once told me that I have a low EQ, not IQ, EQ.
Yeah.
So I was really offended. I was really offended. And then I realized that it was because of part of me being an introvert.
Yes.
So I really tried to work on myself to get better. And then I used my strong point, which is being disciplined, and then worked on myself to like improve my EQ and then communicate with people. And then I realized I really enjoy communicating with people. I really enjoy talking to them, listening to them, mostly listening. I really love when people talk about stuff and I listen to them and then absorb the information, the data. And actually there's a test for that when you can identify your 5 primary talents. And my first talent was like I observed like a sponge.
Okay.
And that was another dot to connect. So here I am. I really love organizing, and I have this absorbing talent of mine. So the third dot that I needed to connect this to other two was that I was improving my EQ and I was enjoying talking to people and listening to them. So all of these 3 dots connected together led me to being a self-discipline coach.
Awesome. So EQ is emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
And that really has to do with the intangible. So rather than intellectual, the intangible aspect of relating to other people that you work with or that you're surrounded by. I'm glad that you're working on that as well. I think that is naturally what introverts feel they fall short on and have to work on. That's awesome. And the third.
That's a funny story.
Sorry.
I'm sorry. There's a funny story. I just took an MBTI test. You know what that is?
Yes.
So yeah, at first I was in INTJ.
Okay.
Okay, which I stands for introvert. Okay, and then after a while, what I was working on my EQ, I took the test again, and then the results turned ENTJ, which is extrovert. E stands for extrovert. So
Right.
I really managed to turn myself into an extrovert over time,
I love how the Myers-Briggs.
This is how discipline works. It can even change your personality.
I love that you strove for perfection and you got there.
Yeah.
It's awesome. And the final step of identifying the perfect career for you, or the right career for you to be in, is applying your zone of genius and some of these dots that we've connected into the career that you do now. And I know that we've spoken about this, but just to bring that together, how have you used your zone of genius and some of these connections that you've got of now being an extrovert into the work that you do?
Okay, so what I do is that over our sessions with my clients, I use my what do you say? What's that? My clue, clue of like that I love listening to people.
Yes.
I take that and I hear out exactly what they say. So as I'm listening to them, I write things down. And when I'm writing things down, it's like you have to see what it looks like. It's just so well organized, and you're going to love it. So here's the second one. This is another clue that I use in what I do. So I organize all my notes, and then I start seeing the patterns. I'm really good at seeing the patterns in someone's like behaviors or thoughts or everything. So I start seeing the patterns and then connect the dots for them. you know?
Wow.
That's how I identify that what they're missing, whether like what are their life gaps that I can help them fill up. And
Yeah.
then my my last and favorite, putting things in order and organizing and planning. That's when it comes to like I can help them reorder their lives and then their tasks, whatever they're doing, and create a balanced routine, a sustainable routine that is going to work in their favor. Because not everyone can like get up at 5 a.m. and take cold showers, you know, all of the stuff we'll hear all the time, but
Yeah.
rather something that works for them, something that comforts them and also puts them in a position that they're disciplined and aligned with their goals. So yeah.
Wonderful. Wonderful. I love that. And it seems like you really thought it out, and you really
Yeah.
get results for the people you work with. That's so refreshing to hear. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
And finally, what would you say? What's the one piece of advice you'll give to someone, um, perhaps on this journey, considering this career path, or just even needing a bit more organization and discipline in their lives? What would you say?
Well, I would say that life itself is a journey, okay?
Yes.
And we're all moving to something, which is death. So death is not a enjoyable goal to like rush into it. I would say just take your time and enjoy your journey, and then don't be hard on yourself, because at the end this is where all of us are going. So take the time you have right now, take the life you're given right now, and enjoy it to the fullest. And that's a piece of advice I would like to tell everyone.
That is so wholesome. I have nothing to add to that. You heard it from the horse's own mouth. Um, Honestly, I want to say thank you so much, guys. If you're listening to this and you could use, and a lot of us could use at different levels of our life, whether it's our professional lives or personal lives, some sort of discipline or organization, definitely check her out. Her details are coming up. And as you've heard, she's transitioned online as well. So you can definitely get in touch on social media or just to follow her journey and see how she advances into the amazing, world-renowned person I know she's going to be. So thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
so much.
Thank you so much for being here and for sharing with us.
It was my pleasure.
And also for the impromptu nature of you just taking this on and making the most of it. I commend you for that.
Don't be a unicorn in a straitjacket.
Absolutely.